Hi everybody, and welcome to another Map and Lens video. It's been a while since I've done one of these, primarily because it's just been a bit of a busy time work-wise and family-wise and stuff, but also because what I really wanted to do was sort out the NT a little bit and tidy you up a bit. Now, for any of you who've been following the channel for a little bit, you'll know that we had an off, wife and I, not that long ago, and as a result, the fairing on the right hand side of the bike got damaged. Whilst these sort of crash bar covers are supposed to be sacrificial, they didn't actually pop off cleanly. When they came off, they ripped the fairing off as well. So I've been hunting around and looking on eBay and trying to find a replacement one that was in the right colour, and I finally managed to. So this video is going to take us through the process of trying to get that swapped over and trying to make it look presentable again. But first things first, just remind you what the damage looks like. Okay, so here we go. I have to excuse the fact that the grill's missing. I took that off because I also thought it was a good job to give that a bit of a spray so that's in the garage drying and hardening up. But this is the main issue. So as you can see there, the crash bar cover's all scratched up, and I've ordered another one of those. But more importantly, when the crash bar came off, it kind of ripped this entire part of the fairing as well. So no matter what I do, she always looks tatty, and I'd very much like her to not look tatty anymore. So, right, everybody. So this is the replacement fairing that I managed to get from eBay. As you can see, it's in pretty good nick. There's no real damage to it, no scratches of any kind. The only thing that is there, I don't know if you can see, is somebody's had some sort of flame graphic. Can't think of anything more inappropriate for the NT, but it looks like there's the outline of a flame graphic there, so I'm going to have to give it a little bit of a T-cut once I get it on and see if I can't get that off a bit, because that's going to spoil it a little bit. It is exactly where the sticker's going to go, Honda sticker, so that might help a little bit, but it's just going to get offered up there. And it's exactly the same colour that the bike currently is, in the black that Honda do. So fingers crossed, she'll look lovely again. Right, so I've had the fairing off the NT before when I was fixing the coolant leak, and it's not complicated to do, but it is a little bit of a chew and it requires removing a fair few bits. So we'll just go through those, what you need to take off before we can get to the fairing. And the left hand side is pretty much exactly the same. But first things first, seat needs to come off first. And then this panel here needs to come off as well. We also need to take off the cowl for the instrument cluster, the wing mirror, that needs to come off. This pocket, the cover, the pocket itself all needs to come off because there's bolts hidden. And then got the big bolt there, there's another one behind here, and there's one just up behind there, behind that grill, which is why you need to take this cover off. And then there's one in there, and then after that the whole thing should just lift off. Yeah, I can't remember how long it took me to do it last time, maybe about an hour, something like that, but I'll put the GoPro on the little head strap bit and we will yeah, let's see how we go. I think it'll be okay. I don't think it'll be too bad. I'm sure as I get started and get into it, I'll start to remember what I was doing and how it was, but it will be nice to get it tidied up again and get the new replacement fairing on. The other thing is I ordered some new. I got some for Christmas off my mum. Some new stickers. So this was going to come off anyway, and same on the other side. So I'm not going to worry too much about this because the whole fairing's going to end up in the scrapyard. But with the other one as well, I use a bit of heat to get it off and put the brand new stickers on as well, and then she'll look nice and tidy. So yeah, get the head strap on and. We'll get started, and hopefully none of the bolts are going to give us too much chew, and it'll be fairly straightforward. But do you believe that's how it's going to work? Because that's not how I believe this is going to go, but we'll see. Stick around. So we're going to start easy and work our way up. So first job, seat. Release, give it a wiggle, and the seat comes off. Nice and easy. First job. Right, then I need to pull off this little rubber cover here that keeps everything tidy. Then it's this panel. Alright, so what we're trying to do is going to access this bolt here, and that'll let us move the rest of them, but before we do any of that we need to now try and deal with this, and we need to get the pocket off. So pocket cover, empty the contents, there you go, and then got a little Allen key there, one there, two screw, well a screw, I don't know if you can see that, a screw up there, an Allen key in there, and then this will come off. So that's the next job. To remove this, there's a little bit of Velcro here just at the back that's holding it in place, so you can just have to break that and then you kind of wiggle it and shimmy it back. There we go, and then the whole thing is now loose, and you can see it's a little bit of Velcro pad there and there. So it's actually, the action is actually not back, it's down towards yourself to slide it off. And then out comes the pocket. And the reason we need the pocket out, pop that in there, is because we, I don't know if you can see there, but the fairing, the cover for the instruments, it's got two bolts that hold it in place, and they're down the bottom there. And we need that back because there's a bolt just behind there. So I'm hoping I might be able to do it by just getting enough access by taking this side pocket out and then just gently plying this back once I take that screw off, but we'll see. I'd like to not have to take that pocket out just for speed and convenience, but let's see how we go. Right, so we're just going to take this screw out of this side, just a standard Phillips head screw. Right, next job, we're going to see if we can't get this wing mirror off, because we need this completely off to be able to remove the fairing. So that's next job. Same for the one at the bottom. Get it started. Then we'll ditch the wrench. And we'll just gently pop these off. Like I said, this is the second time I've removed this fairing, and it really isn't anything to be scared of. It's just about being methodical, and I have to say, my wife did buy me a like a Haynes guide, and whatever you do or don't think about them, they are useful for this sort of thing, because it gives you the methodical approach and make sure you're doing things in the logical order, and it'll also fill you in on where those sneaky little bolts are that all bikes and cars and everything that you work on seem to have, that you just won't be able to see or that you forget about and hamper your progress. So next job, there's some little brake tabs here that you need to just, which is always what I hate when it's plastic, you just need to pop off. So we're going to pop those off and see if we can get enough access into just behind here where the bolt is, and if we can do that, we're golden. If not, this side's going to have to come off, and then all this is going to have to come off there. So fingers crossed we won't need to do all that. Okay, so I spared you from the horrible plastic pulling and snapping noise, but thankfully none of these broke. So there's the two screws that hold this cowling, the instrument binnacle cover, sorry. And then once those two screws off, it is just a little bit of fingers in there and just gently but ever so firmly pop them off, and that's what we're after, that little bolt there, because as you can see that goes straight through and bolts the fairing in as well. So we need that guy off. So far we're making pretty good progress actually, so yeah, we'll get that off and then we'll see where we are. There you go. Now this is going to be the first screw that we've got that's actually loose. So what I think I'm going to do, because I do not want to lose this one, I'll just leave him, set him up on the side there. Okay. Right, so now it's time to remove the rest of the bolts. So we've got a bolt there, there's a bolt hidden away under there, and there's a bolt just tucked in down there as well. So fingers crossed, these will all be as easy to get off as it has been so far. And then in theory, the fairing will graciously and beautifully slide off, and there'll be no trouble and no problems. Let's see. So this bolt's now nice and loose, so we can get that off, but we do need to remove this bump stop off now. I don't know how well the GoPro's going to pick up the angle, but I'll try my best. So there's just a bolt underneath there. Screw that back. You can see how scuffed up this thing is. There we go. So he's off. Put him in the bolt store. And then this guy just pops straight off there, and that's the crash bar. And that's what's supposed to happen, is this is supposed to just rip off. It isn't supposed to take all the fairing with it, but there you go. Right, so if Honda was thinking these would all be the same size bolts, and they are. The benefit of buying Japanese there, a little bit of common sense. All the bolts are the same size, which is what we want. Get these two off. Excellent, and then there's one more just hidden behind there, so we'll see if we can't get that one off as well. Just show you it. It's just down there. Now, because I've fitted this extra piece of lower fairing into this bike, this is where I need to hopefully be able to deal with getting this section off without having to take this off, but I'm going to have a little bit of a play and see if that's possible, and then we're just about there, I think. So on this bike, because I've put this here, this little bit of plastic pops straight in. There's a little like suction cup thing and it just pops into the frame, but obviously I can't get to that because of this, so I've just had to do a little bit of manipulation just to give me enough room just to get in there, and that just about works. A little bit of drama there where that most magical and elusive of things, the 10mm socket, decided that it would take a little bit of a vacation, but now we've located it. And get this last one. Where do all the 10mm go, and why is it always the 10mm? Everything else is exactly where it's supposed to be, but the 10mm, no, never where you need it. Right. So you can see how loose this is now. So we are almost there. In a perfect world, this will be the last bolt holding it in place. Again, I soaked all of these bolts, everyone that I could see anyway, in a bit of GT85. Just don't want to shred anything, especially anything that goes into the frame, because oh, that would be horrendous to deal with. Right. So I've got them laid out on the floor where they go. Okay. There we go. That is one fairing disconnected. Just need to take the light out. One twist to the left, and she's off. It's just the line on the inside, so we just need to make sure that we get that reattached to the new one. Just stops any of the spray coming up. She looks weird, doesn't she, without all her fairing on? See all the shape of the frame and everything. Cool, man. It's a good way to get to know your bike, pulling it apart. Right, so we'll need to take the indicator unit off, held on by 3 screws, because that needs transferring over to the new fairing, and need to move this as well and get the unit transferred over, and then in theory it's just the reverse of what we've already done. Right, we'll start transferring things over from the old unit to the new one. The new one actually already has the splash guard plate in, so that's even better, so I don't need to move that across. You anymore. And now it's time for the full reverse of what we've just done, which is getting that back on there. So I think rather than bore you with exactly the same process in reverse, I think we'll go for a time lapse. Do that, time lapse. Okay, cool. There's a time lapse of me hopefully getting the fairing back on without problems. Okay. There we go. Fair and replaced. All nice and solid. And no longer horribly scarred and damaged down to my stupidity there. But I've noticed what's missing is its badge. It just so happens that we've got two brand new ones, one for either side. So I'm going to use this as a guide, so we know vaguely where it's supposed to go. Pop it out of here. This is a genuine Honda part, as you can see. Because that badge is already looking for worse for wear anyway. There we go. Same. Nice. So it looks like, to me, it's supposed to follow that little ridge there. And it wants to go about there. I'm quite happy with that. Let's see. There we go. So I also took the opportunity to give this bit of a respray to the little cover panel there. So knocked it back, put it all black again. It's sat now curing for about 24 hours. So it's funny because you were at quite a few bikers nights I've been going to recently, practicing some skills and just meeting some people and whatnot. And there's very rarely another NT there. You just don't see very many of them. But when you do, the owners, or the current owners, or the ex-owners always come up and always have a little bit of a chat, and they always tell you how fond they were of the bike and all that, which is always nice. But then they always look at mine and always say something along the lines of, "Hey, well, you know, thing is, mine was mint." And then that always starts to make me feel a little bad, like mine clearly therefore isn't mint. Which is part of the reason why I was going to swap these Honda stickers anyway. And also why I wanted to give this a bit of a repaint. So let's get this refitted, and then hopefully the next time I see somebody who bumps into me who's got one of these, they'll say something other than, "Ooh, well, you know, mine was mint though." Now I hate fitting this thing because it just worries me that I'm going to crack it or split it, especially as I've only just repainted the thing. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like taking this thing off, because a little bit of a black art, it seems to get it all back together again. I'm going to have a fiddle with this and get it looking nice. Right, so after a little bit of jiggling, got the shut lines all nice and smooth and tidy again. And then with that, she's looking lovely. The final bit is the crash bar cover, which still is going to look alright to stay and let the side down. Now, I've ordered one of these, but it's coming from a car parts place in the Netherlands, which is fine. It just means that it's just not going to be here in time. Well, it's not going to be here in time for what I'm doing right now, but it will be here very soon. It was cheaper to buy one brand new from the Netherlands, official Honda part, than it was to buy a used, good condition second-hand one off eBay. So go figure, crazy. But we'll just put this on now, just so there's something covering the crash bar, and it just pops, it just sort of clips in, and then, as if by the power of magic, the second the new one comes, I will click my fingers, and there we go. Finally arrived, the new part. And there we have the finished job. Much tidier and much better looking. Whilst also carrying out these few jobs on the bike, I thought it might be a good idea to deal with the headlight situation, as when I've been riding with a couple of friends, it's been noted the headlight's a little bit dull, and I've noticed that as well on mine. So I swapped out the standard bulb for a night breaker, and that seems to have made quite a bit of difference. In somebody's YouTube video, I'd also seen that the later year models of the NT came with what I think is a much better rear light. So rather than it having the red tinted indicator lenses, you could also get it with the clear ones and the orange bulbs. So I managed to track one of those down and actually imported it from Italy, and swap that over at the same time. Just I felt that it gave the bike a little bit more of a modern look. So overall, dead happy with how the whole project turned out.